As you can see, it's quite simple. Hey, how you going, guys? It's Hearns TV again, and it's me, Dan, and yes, I am completely bald, as you can see. There might be a bit of an adjustment period with the new haircut, but that's okay. Now, anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about something to do with modeling when in the area of gift giving, and because so no unboxing today. Now, if there's one thing that happens to me at work about 2 to 3 times a day, it's somebody's coming in and they're buying a gift of a model kit for usually somebody young, between the ages of 10 to 12, maybe 13, and it's their first one. And the questions I get asked are, what is a good one to start with? And what do they need? Well, let's have a little bit of a chat about that. Now, if aircraft in particular, that if it's something that they're enthusiastic about, especially military aviation, to begin with, I recommend, and if you're going to buy a gift for them, I recommend you stick between 72 and 48 scale. Especially the larger the aircraft, something like a bomber or a large twin engine fighter or so, 72 scale would be good. And for single engine fighters and aircraft like that, 48 scale would be better. Now, there are enough parts, the reasons being there's enough parts to keep them interested and to have it something they can really engage with and put together, but it's not really overwhelming. It's not too complicated for them, and they just lose interest and give up. And then also I get asked what kinds of aircraft are good for your first time modeler or early on modelers. Now, I think that in that aspect, probably generation 1 of the jet aircraft and even the early generation 2 aircraft. So starting with your F-86s, MiG-15s, and even to the earlier versions of the MiG-21 and so on and so forth. So I've got a few examples here. Let me talk you through them. So I'll start you off with the 72 scale option. Now, this is fairly large. This, as you can see, this is pretty big. Now, the B-47, this is an early nuclear bomber. I won't bother going into the developmental history or anything like that. Now, the important thing about this is, as you can see, it's quite simple. The exterior, there's not a lot of things hanging off it or bits, sticking out. And overall, the paint job that they'll have to do is relatively simple. It's mostly just alloy colors with a little bit of blacks here and there. You'll need additional colors for the landing gear and so on and so forth. Now, you'll find with World War II aircraft, there's propellers, and the camouflage patterns were usually fairly colorful and elaborate. And so first-time modelers, it's always, or beginning, should I say, it's always good to keep it fairly simple but engaging. And it's also, quite a decent sized kit, so that's something that they'll get excited about. They can start experimenting with the early stages of panel washes and things like that to bring out the detail in the fuselage and the wings. Now, I'll just set that one off to the side. Now, another example, like a 48 scale as well. I've got the T-33. Now, there is a fighter jet version of this. This is advanced trainer from the F-80 Shooting Star. But, once again, there isn't a lot hanging off the outside or sticking off. It's easy, or it's relatively easy, nice and streamlined, and once again, the predominantly all one color with only a little bit of extra painting you will have to do. All this other stuff here will be decals. They'll be on the inside. There'll be stickers on the inside for them to put on. However, if they've done maybe one or two, and you're still looking for something that is still simple enough to fit into this category, then I recommend something like 48 scale Gloucester media. Now I'll turn it this way. I wonder if the camera can see. I'm blurring it. Yeah. There's camouflage, or see, there's camouflage on the front, or on the exterior of the aircraft, on the fuselage, but it's only 2 colors. And there's a little bit of yellow on the nose. So they can still do this as all one of the alloy colors, like I showed you earlier with the B47. But because the Gloucester media was one of the first generation, was one of the first generation fighters. There's many different variants, but like I said, simple camouflage patterns and not too much bits and pieces hanging off of it. So simple builds that they will get to see at the end their own progress, and that is very empowering for them to take the next step and get more involved with modeling. And now, so the basic tools to get them started as well. Also, brands that make good kits that would be good for the beginners. I recommend Italeri, and I also recommend Airfix. And if you've got a little bit of extra money to spend, Hasegawa and even Edward. Now, essential things that they will need: a good pair of snips. You need to cut the pieces off the moldings, so a good pair of snips come in handy. And another thing with early modelers, you don't have to squeeze really hard when cutting through this the plastic. Just gently squeeze, and as you're cutting the pieces, the blades will actually last much longer. 9 Steps is an excellent brand. We always recommend it to everybody. And then once you've cut them off, there's usually little bits of plastic left on the mold. So once you've glued it together, you do have to often sand little parts of it back, so it's got a nice smooth texture. So we have the 9 Steps sanding blocks as well. This is something you want to chuck in with the present. These are the large ones. Now these last for ages and ages. I know guys that have bought these, and a couple of years later they're still using them. There are smaller versions of the 9 Steps sanding blocks as well that I've got here. These probably would be better than the larger ones, so for them to get used to using to begin with. And then obviously they're gonna need glue, and in that area I recommend the Revell Contactor Professional. I've been using this since primary school, and the good thing about this glue is the viscosity of this. It's relatively thick. It's not super thick, but it's not really runny. It's a really good consistency for beginner modelers to manage. And the other thing I like about it is the needle nose application. So you can really control how well or how quickly the glue comes out, and you can get into very fine points of where the model pieces go together. Now every now and again the glue in this needle actually dries up on the inside. So what you got to do is get either a cigarette lighter, a match, and then you just run it back and forward, and then a little flame goes pop, and you just put it out, leave it for a few seconds, let it cool down, and then you can use it again. Yeah, excellent glue. Still using it to this very day, and we sell, God knows how much of this stuff that we sell. But yeah, all right, so yeah guys, I know that we're in the middle of July and Christmas is still very far away, but if you start thinking about gifts, if you like to plan ahead like I do, if you're thinking about gifts for Christmas time, birthdays or anything like that for a young bloke who's only just getting into modeling, or wants to start to get into this kind of thing, then yeah, take the advice that, well, this is my opinion anyway. Don't take the advice I've given you here, and I'm sure that it'll be great for them. They'll really enjoy it, and they'll want to do it again and again. But yeah, all right, thanks for tuning in. I hope you like this video. I hope you like my haircut too, because it's probably going to be like this for a little while. But yeah, thanks for tuning in again, guys. Hope to see you in the store again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, rock and roll.